Today is also go to is one of my good friends' studio. Okay, it's a Hung studio. It don't looks like an architectural studio. Looks like a workshop. Why this studio have such as a workshop? Because Hung called himself is design and build architect.
Hello, I'm Hung, and we found LAAB in 2013, and inside LAAB we got 2 A's, is arts and architecture, and we think that these 2 elements in Hong Kong is a little bit quite remote. Actually, it doesn't have a lot of close relations because most of them consider these 2 disciplines kind of separate in Hong Kong. But we want to put it together because we think that they have a lot of common features, a common philosophy that we should consider when we design architecture. For example, in terms of the craftsmanship, the use of materials, the importance of buildings, the importance of fabricating, importance of studying the features and the properties of materials so that we can understand them a little bit more in terms of the building method, the details, so that we can have a better design.
The first thing is Hung showed me is in his material library is this piece of wood. The second thing he showed me is another piece of wood with some plastics. Okay, it's a resin.
This wood is called a Fender wood, demolished from the Old Wan Chai Pier. Wan Chai Pier is a very old pier, which was demolished in 2015, and during that time, environmental protection departments want to engage us for projects in a sludge treatment plant in Tuen Mun, in new territories, in which they emphasize how we can reuse energy, how we can turn waste into a more valuable resource for public. So they engage us to design a cafe for staff and for public, for visitors when they come to visit the treatment plant. So they kind of collect some Fender woods from the Old Wan Chai Pier and just ask us if we can use those materials to design the cafe. So, the sawmill which the woods are kept were kept at that time, and those woods are actually very large pieces. It's around 300 millimeters by 300 millimeters by 6 meters long. So we don't have any equipment to chop it down into small pieces for furniture. That's why we engage a very traditional sawmill in new territories. It was our first time to engage or to experiment to use such large pieces of solid wood for furniture or products or interior scale renovation projects. So we spend a lot of time in terms of how to treat it. For example, how we can cut it into small pieces, how we need to take some time to dry it, how we try to kill all the germs, all the bugs inside the wood, because they have been immersed in the seawater for over 50 years. So you can see that originally this is the cross section of the wood. So originally it is about this size, large, and this is 1/4 of it. And you can see that actually in the middle, they are already, decayed in the middle. So only a few parts of the wood that can be used to cut into plans and different parts of the to form different kind of furnitures. And also there are a lot of defects in the wood. You can see a lot of cracks and a lot of I don't know what this called, kind of creatures inside, in which usually when we make the furniture, we always want to get rid of those and then kind of polish it into a very smooth surface before making the furniture. But in this sense, we think we want to kind of preserve not only this kind of wood characteristics, the cracks, but we also want to preserve our memories, actually, the memories of the city, because this wood is kind of coming from a very iconic transportation hub. We want to preserve it in a way that to show public that when you conceive some materials, when you conceive something which you think that they are going to unuse it, they are going to demolish it, it will become rubbish. But we want to turn the rubbish, turn those trash into a more useful things. For example, we kind of upcycling it into a more valuable furniture, which nobody will ever imagine before. So we make use of this wood, and we kind of using the resins to encapsulate the wood actually, because this is one of the pieces that we kind of find very interesting. We make the stool with the most broken small pieces, which originally is not suitable for furniture and making furniture at all. But we use resin to encapsulate it and then polish it, so that we make a stool. And it's kind of like we kind of put back the wood into the seawater. It is kind of an analogy. And even the colors of the resin, we try a lot. Originally we try to make it transparent, more like a very delicate and nice looking art pieces, but actually there are lots of air bubbles inside the wood, and we don't know how to treat it. So, and they also turn the resin into a very yellowish and unpleasant colors. So that's why why not we just add some pigment, color pigment inside the resin, and turn this into a more like a seawater green, seawater blue. So analogy is more like putting the wood back into the sea, kind of preserve it in a more nice and artistic way. So that's what the project is about actually. And we use the Fender wood, different parts of Fender woods, to make different configurations of furniture. And the design process is kind of back and forth from drawings to making, and then back to drawings, revise the design, and then back to making. So it's kind of an orthodox method of design, comparing to the typical design methodology that we architects usually do when we try to draw everything on the drawings, finish all the drawings, and then find the materials and then produce it. We kind of back and forth the process and kind of design through making.
It's not an antique.
Yeah.
What makes you is so special? You are willing to sacrifice your design for the material.
Yeah, I think we respect the material properties, and that's the first thing that I think architects should do actually. We respect what the world gave us, what the environment gave us. So we try to make use of these. We don't call it defects actually. We call it merits. We call it an opportunity for us to get through the constraint and make something better. We kind of think it more positively. So we think that this kind of so-called defects is actually the design concept, the most important design concept behind for us to make the design better. And that's why we are willing to work with the material, not against the materials. I think that's what we think.
Even though LAAB is a small practice in Hong Kong, but actually they have their own gallery.
This project is called Harbour Kiosk. Actually, it's a mechanical buildings within the Victoria Dockside, the waterfront promenade, which the promenade is actually one of the most busiest and one of the most attractive landmark in Hong Kong, where you can see the structure of the movies. We want to make a moving public architectures in Hong Kong. So basically, the concept is from a tradition, a very Hong Kong style store in which they open up their store every morning, and then when they close the business, they will close down the shutters and gates so that the goods inside will be securely safe, and then they can easily open up for everyday business. Which you will see this kind of two scenarios. This is the opening conditions, and this is the closed condition. So that every day the things will actually rise up, and then so that the kiosk can open business for the public, and then every night they will close the fins so that it will become a more integrated artworks or small architectures which people can take photos and have a look and leisure. For these mechanical buildings, actually, it's very important architectures along the promenade because it consists of all the important water tanks, electrical appliances, IT facilities, water pipes. So it is actually the heart of the promenade. Well, I think we just want to have more good designs in terms of project types and in terms of the exposure to public, so that public will love our architectures, love our designs, because we believe that a good design will improve our life, our quality of life, and just want to keep our passion and produce more good designs for the public. But of course, we also want the public to be more attentive to the built environment in Hong Kong and appreciate good design by some of the maybe unknown but very talented young architects, and which those young architects can have more opportunities.